serious. Namaste.
Namaste.
Wow, I'm amazed that you guys don't have anything better to do on a Sunday at 5 o'clock than to come to a arm balance and inversion class. So very awesome. So thank you for being here today. This class is called Fuck Your Fears. And most of you, now that you've begun to maybe read some of my blogs or see some of the things that are going on Facebook or some of the other names of my workshops and places that I've and classes that I've taught at conferences and festivals, are realizing that I really like to fucking swear. And there's something really liberating about that for me. So during this class, if you hear a few F-bombs, S-bombs, it's okay to laugh and enjoy yourself a little bit. And maybe, you'll say a few as well. So where did this class come from? I would have to say that over the last 8 years of me teaching, one of the biggest things that I found is that we all are conquering fears on the mat. Whatever that looks like for all of us. Some of us, it's strictly the postures are challenging. Even, forget about inversions and arm balances. Sorry Chase, I can't stand yin. It actually makes me like fearful to be in some of these poses. But yet sometimes the things you fear are the things you know that you definitely should be doing. So I'm going to rewind, let's say, 8 years. So Greg and I, my husband and me, we went to Mexico, to Chichen Itza. And nowadays you can't climb the pyramids that the Mayans built, but back then you were allowed to totally ruin them with your feet. So I decided that that sounded like something I wanted to do. So we went around to this most amazing temples, and we started to climb. And one of the things that I did to make sure that my feet were protected is I wore hiking boots. And I'm just going to hold these up for a minute. I have massive feet. So they're a size 10. If you know anything about the Mayans, they are extremely small people. Their feet, I'm assuming, are like a size 2. So that would mean that the steps are built super teeny tiny all the way up, and rather narrow. So being the little daredevil that I claimed to be, I wanted to prove to my new husband that I could be just as he could be. So we clambered up to the top of this thing. And I looked around and I thought, wow, we're really freaking high. And I kind of kept that to myself, except I started to get the shakes a little bit. And I started to feel a little bit nauseous, and even more so when I realized that there was nothing from stopping anybody from pushing me off the edge. There was no anything I could hang on to, no railing or anything. So I'm up at the top, fearing for my life. And wouldn't you know, we've got to make our way back down. So I stood there for a little bit, and I literally started to drip from my palms, and I'm sure my boots were creating a nice little well of nastiness in them. And I started to hyperventilate, and it was a completely irrational fear, but I visualized, good manifestation, visualized myself tripping and falling down these Mayan stairs because my feet were so big. So little kids, elderly, are clambering up and down like nobody's business, and my husband's like, are you okay? And I wanted to play tough, but I couldn't. I said, I forgot to tell you, I'm afraid of heights. Perfect. So on my way down, which was extremely slow, he would sort of hop, skip, and step. I still don't know how he did that halfway, and he'd be like, come on, you can do it. I'm looking up like, come on. And as most times I don't like to be treated like I'm 5, but I was acting like it, so I thought, that's okay. You can like, come on, like a little, I was like, I don't know, help me. So I was so freaked out. There was this rope, like thin, and like it moved anytime anyone else grabbed it. You were doing this kind of thing, and I was like, oh my God. So it was me and a woman who was 95, I'm sure of it. I'm sure that's how old she was. We decided to crawl down backwards. And it's the only description I can give you except for humiliating. So I was dressed really rather cool, and I looked like a bit of a loser, but that's okay. He still loved me anyway, so that was good. But it took forever. While everyone's like, what's her problem? I was like sweating and shaking all the way down. I'm afraid of heights. I'm also afraid of anacondas. And yes, I have kind of run into one in Thailand. By run in, it was way down there, but it looked at me and it almost tripped me. So we all have things that we're working through. Sometimes they're actual fears, like fear of something. But sometimes it's fear of failure. It's fear of success. It's fear of not being accepted. It's fear of being vulnerable. It's fear of putting yourself out there and getting nothing in return. It's fear of not looking a certain way. It's all these fears that are more emotional, not so much necessarily physical, but they all still increase the adrenaline response and cause us to feel shaky and nervous and headachy and like just we're sweating through areas that are not really supposed to be sweating. And on the mat, we can fear inversions. We can fear going upside down. We can fear balancing on our heads. We can fear stretching. We can fear hurting. We can fear not looking good enough. We can fear our weight. We can fear that the person next to us is doing more to us, more than we should be doing. We fear our past and we fear our future because we know what our body used to do and we like that concept. We know where we'd like to go, but for some reason, sitting in that moment is really challenging for a lot of us. So this class is not about inversions. Surprise. It's not about arm balances. Yes, it is, but it is not. So let's come to your seat. Let's allow your sit bones to ground and your shoulders to roll back and your heart to lift and your eyes to come to a close. And you'll just take a couple of moments and settle in however you need to. And if sitting cross-legged doesn't work, then of course don't do it. You can bring your hands face up or face down, whatever suits you in this moment. The index and thumb can touch. And you find this space that's sacred, that's special to you. Doesn't matter if you've come with somebody or if you came on your own. We're all working through something, whether it's a physical need or whether it's an emotional one or something that in our lives, it's like we're stuck and we just want to get over this hump. Yoga is part of the answer. The movement, the breath, the visualizations, or the trust, the laughter, the falling, and the getting back up. And so as you breathe today, you'll learn a lot about what's going on with your anxiety as soon as you tap into how you're breathing. Already you might think this class is going to kill you, but in fact it's going to rejuvenate you. It's going to uplift you and give you the courage, not break you down. Too many things in life are unachievable because they're so far out of our grasp, and this class is meant to make things achievable. And so just notice how your breath is moving in and out of your body. Notice how the inhales feel sliding in your nostrils, down your throat, in your heart, into your belly, and down into the pelvic floor. Can you actually feel that movement? If not, there's no right or wrong answer. It's simply just an observation of how your body responds to you breathing in this moment. Maybe you are rather nervous to do some things in this class, and so already you can feel that there's restriction in the gut and that you're breathing only through the chest in a very shallow way. See if you can just allow the breath to elongate to a deeper count of 4 or 5. Samavriti, inhale, same, exhale, same. And if you will, think about visualizing the breath moving down in such a way that it is long but expansive. So no longer are we simply belly breathing, that is still very shallow. Go deeper than that. Go down into the depths of your pelvic floor and expand like a lotus flower, hips, perineum. And what the hell, expand your anus. And then as you exhale, you can bring in and up a gentle feeling of drawing in like a Kegel. It's a little bit more subtle than that. And then the belly button draws in. It's almost like a tube of toothpaste. You're squeezing that breath out of the nostrils, letting it go, reading it into the air around you. When you breathe this deeply, you inhale, you open, and you become super vibrant. Then you exhale, release, let go of the shit you're hanging on to. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. And then you create space in the body to, again, breathe back in, vibrating from toes to head. If you learn nothing today except for controlling your breath, and let's not use controlling, let's say guiding your breath, you have accomplished more than what most people do in a lifetime. Bring your hands into heart center and allow your thumb to rest on your heart bone, the sternum, and press your fingertips gently in together. Even press the outer palm together, creating almost a hollow in the center of your palms. You don't have to try, it happens naturally. And we'll open this class with 3 cleansing breaths and an Om, and you can listen or you can participate. Take an inhale. Gently allow your gaze to flutter open, looking down towards your mat. And the gaze can shift forward, and we'll take it right into a wide knee child's pose. So you can